All the discussions on this podcast are meant for general information and not medical advice. If you have any questions or concerns, please consult your physician or medical practitioner. Thank you. Hi, good morning. I want to welcome, we have the Abrahamson Center here. We have Gali, and she is going to talk to us about their holistic approach to addiction. Welcome, Gali, and good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. We are just going to hear a quick song, and then we will be back.
Sounds good.
בוא ננגן, בוא תשב כאן איתי, אתה יודע, רגע כזה שכולו אמיתי, אתה שומע, אחי אני כאן בשבילך לתמיד, ומי אנחנו? שבט אחים עם מלא הפכים, אל תתייג אותנו, כל הקווה לטובה שתבוא, אחי תבקש זה עלינו יבוא, תראה הכל מוכן כאן בשבילנו, גם אם טיפה שורף זה יעבור, ואיך שאתה שר נדלק האור, אחי עזוב שטויות תדליק אותנו, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, עכשיו לשיר איתנו, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, זאת השנה שלנו, שזה זורם אצלי בדם, שנינו מול כל העולם, ועוד לא התחיל הלילה, שזה זורם אצלי בדם, שנינו מול כל העולם, התחיל הלילה. זוכר ששמעתי אותך בלי לראות את זיו פניך, התחלת לשיר רק רציתי להיות קרוב אליך, על כל השירים שניגנת מזמן אני גדלתי, תביא לי חיבוק תישאר איתי כאן, עכשיו הבנתי, כל הקווה לטובה שתבוא, אחי תבקש זה עלינו יבוא, תראה הכל מוכן כאן בשבילנו, גם אם טיפה שורף זה יעבור, ואיך שאתה שר נדלק האור, אחי עזוב שטויות תדליק אותנו, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, עכשיו לשיר איתנו, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, זאת השנה שלנו, שזה זורם אצלי בדם, שנינו מול כל העולם, ועוד לא התחיל הלילה, שזה זורם אצלי בדם, שנינו מול כל העולם, ועוד לא התחיל הלילה. תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, עכשיו לשיר איתנו, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, תגיד לי מי לא יבוא, זאת השנה שלנו.
Hello, Boker Tov. We are back. We have our special guest, Gali, from the Abrahamson Center. She's going to talk to us about this amazing holistic approach to chemical addiction and sugar addiction. Tell us more. Tell us about it. Good morning, Gali.
Good morning. It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Yes. So it's funny because you mentioned chemical addiction and then you kind of added the sugar, but sugar is chemical as well. So
It is. It's an opiate, actually.
It is. Okay, so let me go back a bit in history to kind of tell you how it all started and where we are today with the whole thing. So it started with a young gentleman, Ehud Abrahamson, back in Israel. When he finished his military service, he was interested in learning. He did chemistry and biology, and something was driving him towards the more holistic studies. And now we're talking about back in the 80s, where it's not, people don't know this.
Yeah, it wasn't
like,
so popular.
Exactly. So, coming all of a sudden and kind of deciding that he wanted to study more and learn more, then he took that approach at, same time as he did the chemistry and the biology. So he started on that route, and he was specifically interested in the whole mind-body connection and how they correlate, and the fact that it's not just a body, there's something else there. And he went deeper into the more specific into the electromagnetic field, and all of that area. um, he figured out there's a way that he can switch off people's urges. It started off with people wanting to quit cigarettes and their addiction to smoking, and that's really where it all started. He was treating people and kind of learning as he was going how to do this, and kind of build a method all around it, because it's not just it's not just one thing. It's not just the mind. It's not just the body. It's the psychology behind it. It's your past. It's everything that is making who you are. And that's really, when he talks about the Abrahamson method, then that's what he puts in it. So it's all the different variants that go in it.
That's right.
So he started off with the smoking addiction, and slowly and gradually, kind of, word of mouth, and he got more and more people that were wanting to quit. And then he started getting people back and saying, you know what, I have a kid, he has diabetes, and he is just addicted to sugar. He is not able to stop himself. So if you can stop with one addiction, do you think you can do this? Now, that's really how he kind of evolved with all kinds of treatments, because one thing kind of pushed to another. So there he is facing with a whole new thing, with a whole new addiction. And he went and he studied a lot about the sugar addiction. And we know now that how addictive sugar is.
Oh, yeah.
So it is. I mean, they had studies showing that it's more addictive than cocaine.
Oh, yeah, they did some studies on mice, and the mice, they gave them the option. They were already addicted to cocaine, and they gave them an option of sugar or cocaine, and they actually all switched to the sugar.
That is, I mean, I was about to say it's funny, but it's not funny, because, it's a legal substance that is literally put in most of our nutrition these days.
It is, and there's so many different words for sugar that most people don't even realize it's sugar, but has so many different words that they use.
Yes. So when we talk about sugar, so, of course, that whole methodology, the food process, has evolved so well, and people and manufacturers are finding the easiest, fastest, and cheapest way to manufacture exactly the same thing. So when we talk about sugars, it's all the processed ones. We're not talking about, natural, good for you sugars.
Right.
We're talking about highly processed that are made
refined sugars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So back to Abrahamson, back to Ehud. So that's where he was faced with the sugar addiction, and that turned into someone who had celiac and couldn't digest gluten. So that's another thing that we need to address. Of course, over the years, those are the main treatments that we do.
Oh, you do gluten also?
So yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It kind of goes together
with the sugar.
Sugars and carbs.
Yeah.
So we kind of differentiate between the two, and I will get to that afterwards, and I'll explain how we do that. But it goes together. So it's sugar and carbs, And today we have like the multiple treatments that we can do, as you mentioned, the alcohol, the drugs, the gambling. I mean, it just goes on, and and it's evolving. So, and as I said, so it started off about 38 years ago, and now we have treatments and healers all over the world. So we have Panama, we have Colombia, Mexico, Turkey, and we have here, of course, in the US. So we have two main locations in LA. One is in the city location, one is in the valley, and then we have the Miami location as well. So, and again, that is just being, we're expanding that because it's just the word of mouth kind of getting people interested in this system. Now, super important to emphasize, it is all energetic. There is no chemicals involved. You do not drink, eat, take, touch anything during the treatment. So it's a full holistic treatment. The healers that Ehud Abrahamson, so they're actually only 18. And that's a fact I recently learned, and I thought that was pretty amazing. I mean, not everybody can be a healer. You have to be that very special, very unique person to do that, and you are literally handpicked. So Navot, the healer that's here in the US, so he told me that he contacted Ehud Abrahamson, and he wanted to learn this and do this, and he said it took him about a year until he even replied to him and kind of said, okay, let's do this, and he taught him, and apparently it takes a long time to learn, and you have to be that special kind of person.
Yeah.
So
you really have to have that mind connection, mind-body connection to heal someone else.
Definitely. It's all about giving from within without nothing really to gain. So they spend literally a lot of energy to do that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty amazing to know that there are only 18 of them around the world. And
yes.
I think it's pretty awesome. It's pretty unique. So by now we had already 150,000 people do the treatment with what we say 90% success. Now, when I say that, it does not mean that 10% are not successful. It just means that 90% after 3 days, they don't see or smell or are attracted to any of the substance that they were treated for. So people can leave the treatment and feel like they want to throw up, or they have headaches and nausea, and all of those are very common. Some people just leave and don't think about smoking again, or don't think about that croissant, on the way to work. So come in, come out, and it's so 90% of them just finish up with one session. Now, the 10 other percent are not people that don't feel this way. It's just something, again, because it's energetic, something could have happened throughout the treatment, and then simple thing, just come back. That's why we open our doors, and we keep our doors open for anybody.
So then they just kind of redo the treatment again.
Exactly.
And tell us a little bit about what the treatment is like what happens during the treatment.
So I will try.
Okay, just in a simplified way.
Yes, no, definitely. So basically, from what I understand, they have this ability to look at a person as, let's say you're looking at a power circuit, and you have these switches. So they are able to go in and, per your request, switch off. So if it's someone who is addicted to smoking and wants to stop, then they will see that switch and literally pull it down. Now, it's putting it to sleep. That's it. It's just putting that urge to smoke, that something within you, they're just putting that to sleep. So it could be with sugar and carbs as well, and again, with any other addictions.
And so after they have that done, do they need to kind of avoid being near that substance, and for how long?
Definitely. So, of course, there's old habits, and so let's take the smoking, just because it's the easiest example. But if you used to smoke in a car, or if you have a partner that smokes, if you go back and if you smell it, and if you are around people who smoke, you can secondhand smoke, and that could turn on that trigger again. So you're not invincible, especially not for the first few months, until you require those good, healthy habits, and kind of breaking that old habit, and learning. And your body as well is going through detox as well. So the part of the treatment as well is kind of putting your body into like a race mode, and to flush out all of the toxins. So basically 3 to 4 days, we emphasize drink water, do anything that you can do to kind of push forward and clean out your system. So, it's not within you. So the treatment itself is an hour and a half. You go in, there's a whole discussion with the healer, and then you have the treatment itself. And then after the treatment, that's really where I come in as the follow-up team. And we have nutritionists, we have health advisors, and we're there to support. And as I said, get away from those bad habits. So, people come in, and I just had someone who was smoking for 53 years, and he's like, Gali, I don't know myself not smoking. I have been smoking longer than I have not been smoking. How? And it's just, tailoring that follow-up to him, and understanding where he's coming from, and what his big obstacle is. So, and that's the main thing as well, to know and to tailor every person, and every story, and every person that comes and does the treatment. There is a reason they want to do this. So it could be, it could be weight loss, it could be diabetes. And that I had a lady that was pre-diabetic, and she said, I don't want to go on pills. And so changing that whole mindset of, first of all, yes, you have to change your diet. You can't just, eat whatever and kind of hope for the best. You have to change that. And people don't know. And again, that's where we're giving that knowledge. We're giving all of the information for the people to go and live a healthy lifestyle.
Yes, so and what I love about... Yes, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was about to say that the treatment kind of puts them into, okay, now we're not craving sugars, we're not craving those carbs, but okay, so what can I have?
What can I adjust and add to my diet to make myself healthier? So this is kind of, my whole holistic approach as well. It's also pretty much, it's getting to the root cause and fixing the root, rather than putting on a patch that you're putting so many more toxins into your body, or taking a pill that's going to control your insulin resistance. And so it's kind of the same idea, which I just love, because I'm all about getting to the root cause instead of treating the symptom.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see. I mean, I know that people come in and want to stop smoking, but then I get to know them, and I talk to them, and through the follow-ups, and you get to know, as I said, the person's story, and then you hear, okay, what is it? Why are you smoking? What is behind it? Is it? I mean, it could be so many reasons. And truth, I mean, a lot of people don't know when they even started or why they even started. It's just become this habit, and it's, I always say it's your best friend when it comes to smoking. It's your best friend that never lets you down. So.
I mean, I happen to know a couple people that have gone through this treatment and have been successful. They both had addictions for 20 plus years, and they are free of it now. So I know firsthand that this works. I have another question for you, actually. What if somebody came in and they wanted to quit smoking, and they also had kind of a carb and sugar addiction? Could they deal with that addiction in one appointment, or is that two separate things? Is it different receptors?
Yes, definitely. So yes, they can deal with both. yes, we say between 2 and 3 months to deal with one addiction, basically get over it, learn how to live without it, and then tackle the other one.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot as well to do with, again, with that mindset
Mm-hmm.
that people don't fall back. People, you can be sugar-free or smoke-free, but then, something happens and very quickly you fall back into those bad habits. Now, we know that forming new habits take a while. And again, that's all part of it. And once we learn and we are on that stable path, then definitely you can do as many treatments as you want.
Okay. So yeah, we even with this treatment, like anything else, it's not a miracle. So we want to take advantage of the amazing treatment and also learn how to deal with our stress, how to manage it, how to perceive it, so that we don't automatically fall back and reach for that sugar or reach for that cigarette when we're stressed. So, breath work and meditation and try to get more healthy stress management in your life is going to help with that.
That's all something that we talk about and advise. And again, the whole follow-up team, that's the whole part of it. So again, that's the whole part of the Abrahamson method. So you do the treatment, and then you have a coach that's with you and helps you and can advise and get you different tips for different situations and kind of be through that and not just, again, like you said, like it's not just the treatment and hope for the best. And no, it's not a miracle, not at all. There's a lot of work that needs to come. It's just way easier, because how many people do you know that, tried to stop smoking by themselves? So it's hard. It is really hard.
And also people stop smoking and then they might find something else to cover up what they're missing. Like they might start eating sugar or carbs to fulfill their missing habit.
Yep.
And how much does a treatment like this usually, how much around does this cost to have this done?
So it's, I am actually not entirely sure. We'll have
That's okay. We'll definitely put links on the video.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then.
And I can tell you that we are doing a promotion for you guys. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, definitely. But so I can't tell you. And also, each treatment does vary because again, it depends. So I know like the harder ones, the more the alcohol, the drugs, that will be a bit more just because it takes
a little more work.
Yes, exactly.
Got it.
The healer. So it's hard for me to kind of give you. I don't
have an exact number.
That side of things.
Yeah, I got you.
But Dekel is our the U.S. manager, and she can give all the information that anybody will need about that.
Yeah, and we will definitely put up all the links, and if you guys have any questions, their website will be linked, and everything will be linked, and you can ask away. I find this just so incredible that it's even possible to do something like this without having to add more toxins. Like, I mean, before people were popping that nicotine gum and putting those patches, and who knows how many chemicals are in those things. So
yes, and it's funny because it's just putting, the patches or the electronic cigarette.
That's just terrible.
But it's just nicotine. You're just putting more, and you're just feeding the beast that's within. And until you don't flush it all the way out, it is still going to trigger. So that switch in your brain that they're shutting off, they can put it to sleep, but memories are still there, and they can't wipe it out. So
that's when your work comes in. You have to put in that work, like with everything else in life. You want to have a healthy mind and a healthy body, and they're all connected. So, a really stressed person is not going to be completely healthy. So we always have to work not only on what we eat, but what our lifestyle is and how we manage our stress, because stress is really has a big impact on our health and also on our weight. It's the number one cause of obesity. So, we need to really be aware of our mind and our body connections.
Yes, it's all all connected together. I mean, it's not just the mind that you can find yourself kind of going into that state of mind. Well, I want to change, I want to do, but if you don't do, and if you don't act with your body and don't treat that body the same way, it's not going to work. So it's all correlated with each other, and it's amazing what you can achieve when you put the two together.
Right. And how lucky are we that someone this intelligent discovered such an approach.
I know.
It's amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
Yes, it is.
Amazing. We're very lucky to have him here in the U.S. That's for sure.
Oh, what a blessing!
He traveled here like 20 years ago. He used to do treatments, and people still tell me. I mean, I've heard from a friend that did it 20 years ago. I'm like, oh well, we have places. We have the one here for you.
So that's so great. So there's 2 locations here in LA. There's a location in Miami, and I'm sure working on even more, just expanding. And, you know, I'm happy to spread the awareness that this exists, because this is just amazing. And it was such a pleasure to have you.
Oh, thank you.
And if is there anything else that you wanted to add or tell us about it? Anything else?
I would love to get to know the people and see how people are getting healthier and better and learning this healthy way to get rid of addictions and not go through that cycle anymore of diet, get back of the weight, and gain back the weight. I mean, you need to understand where it's coming from, and if it's an addiction, then we can help. We can definitely help and give you the tools to kind of get through it and not do that diet cycle all over again.
Yeah, and especially if we could prevent the diabetes and all that insulin resistant, because that just causes so many different diseases. So it's funny. I had a model that I cannot say her name, I'm sorry, but she's in LA, and she came and she did the treatment, and it was funny because when we were talking, it's like, this is the exact thing. Like, you don't have to be overweight. That's right.
To see that sugar is a problem. So yes, on the addiction level, for sure, we could deal with that, but people don't know that sugar from inside is not good for you and can cause many health problems. So you don't have to be overweight. You don't have to be obese. You don't need to show it from the outside that you have underlying health problems. It's within you, exactly like smoking. You don't see it on the outside, but oh boy, what's going on inside.
That's right. You could eat something and feel that lightheaded and dizziness. Those are all signs of building an insulin resistant and not being able to metabolize that sugar or carbs. Yeah, and that's all pre-diabetic, you know, all of that. So you wanna get rid of that if you can. Yeah.
You wanna get, you know, deal before it becomes a problem. Always dealing with a problem is harder than
dealing with the symptom.
Exactly.
Because then when you deal with the symptom, you might feel better, but you are actually causing yourself a lot more in the future. A lot more headache in the future.
There are a lot of things that are, you know, irreversible, and get to a point where it's so hard you can't turn back time.
No.
You just cannot. And if you don't, you know, treat your body properly from the beginning, from the get-go, and kind of give it what it needs, then you'll pay for it. You will definitely pay for it. So,
and I think our bodies all started like before we were born. I've actually been reading about it. You know, it's all about what our mothers ate before we even were in utero. It's all about the egg quality, and then what she ate when they were pregnant with us, and what they fed us, and then what we ate as adults. So, you know, you want to get on that control of what your diet is, because food is medicine, and we can definitely prevent a lot of illnesses that way.
Yes, definitely. I think it's funny, you know, a lot of people say, well, I didn't think I was addicted to sugar, and I just look back and I just say, well, think about your when you turned 1 and you did cake smash, or, that was the first time we introduced sugar to your diet, because up until then, we've all been very good with our babies and, doing whatever we can, but then something happens and it's just, it's easy, it's convenient, it's simple, and it's cheap. So I can understand why people gravitate towards that. And without knowing, you are feeding a drug to a 1-year-old baby. Now, what can you do when you don't know? So I think there's a lot of knowledge that needs to go into helping people. A lot of people don't know, and they don't know what they don't know, so they don't know to ask questions. But when you are open and when you do want to change what's going on, then there are options.
That's
right. Options. We have that method. We have that help. People can get that help. They can get the knowledge. They can get the, whatever you need, we can give you. From the first moment. With the treatment, get over the addiction.
Yeah, you guys do most of the work, and then the client just has to do a little bit of the upkeep to keep it up. So that sounds like a good deal.
It's pretty simple, I must say. It's pretty simple. Keep it basic.
Yeah.
Keep it basic. That's all.
And even the natural sugars, you want to keep those under control as well, because even honey and maple syrup, absolutely better than refined sugar, but those are also going to create, they also have a glycemic index, so they're also going to create that rise in insulin.
Yes, so definitely. So at the beginning, I actually promised to get back to you about the gluten and how we treat that. And it's the same with the sugars. So yes, we do say stay away from any refined sugar, processed sugar, whatever the name is. And we teach people how to do that, obviously. But we do encourage to go towards the natural sources of sugars. So yes, the honey, yes, the maple. We usually don't have the problem with that because it's usually not a problem. Again, if you do have pre-diabetic or you are diabetic, then you will be treated in a different way. And that's where, again, the follow-up team kind of tailors it to a specific person. And again, you asked about the gluten, and I said I'll come back to you. So it's the same thing. So we don't avoid gluten. Gluten is not bad 100%. What is refined and processed carbs.
That's
and
right.
Empty carbs, what we call, but they have no nutrition value to them. So besides breaking down into sugar, that turns into, a spike in insulin, and then goes down, and then goes into fat storage, nothing really to gain out of them. So if you don't have a problem with gluten, no problem. You can still eat it. It's absolutely fine. We tailor it and advise towards that specific person.
Yes, so the gluten that you are okay with eating would be in like your whole foods, your grains, and the real foods, not the processed foods. Those glutens are okay, but when we're talking about a bread that's everything's been removed from that product and added back in with tons of other horrible things for you, those are the glutens that you definitely don't want to add in or keep in your diet.
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of people also think that they're not addicted to sugar, but they're addicted to carbs, which turns to sugar in your body.
Exactly.
So I know a lot of people that say, I don't eat sugar. And I'm like, no, but you're eating all carbs, and in your body, your body sees that as sugar. It's the same reaction. So
Exactly. It breaks down into the sugars and acts exactly the same. So again, if it doesn't give you anything, if there's no nutrition value to it, if it's not good for you, then just don't.
That's right. So I always say, keep all your diet. Just think, if the earth didn't make that, you don't want to eat that. And just eat as many colorful vegetables and fruits as possible to get all your phytonutrients. And we have this amazing concept and method available to us, and it was such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was an honor.
It was so great. And again, like I said, everybody, I will tag everything in the comments, and they will be linked. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us or to them. And we hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye.